Trojan family, what's going on? Welcome back to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. We're Los Angeles Sports. This is your daily dose of USC Trojans news. I just wrapped up my Thursday live edition just a couple hours ago, previewing this Notre Dame USC matchups. If you haven't already, check that out here on the USC LAFB channel, or you can find it on LAFBnetwork.com. But had to get back on here. Breaking news. We projected it a couple days ago. Now it has come to fruition as cornerback Jayden Crowder, local 3-star prospect out of Rancho Santa Margarita, the new upswing program coached by Trojan legend Carson Palmer. He decommitted from Cal yesterday and officially committed to the USC Trojans today. Another big commitment. We didn't know for sure. Well, let me say it like this. So on Sunday, a huge visitor list, not Sunday, Saturday, a huge amount of visitors at the game. Talked about that a bunch last week and even afterwards. And, there was talk based on who I talked to. I said this in a video directly after that. It felt like there was going to be, 2 to 3 potentially commitments that would come out of this visit. Now, was that going to be in the 26 class? Was it going to be in the 27 class? We would find out throughout the week, obviously, right? So Monday morning comes, Steve Wiltfong of Rivals puts out an expert prediction that Jayden Crowder would flip his commitment from Cal to USC. That was Monday morning. Well, then on Monday night, number 1 JUCO cornerback in the country, Jaquan Morris, announces he's committing to USC. So now it's like, okay, that's a cornerback. Jayden Crowder's a cornerback. Will USC take another cornerback? Or is this more of I even talked on it when it happened, like we just kind of, hey, we want both these guys. Whoever officially, commits first gets the spot. Like that's what we didn't know for sure. Well, sure enough, as I was hearing, the prospects were still feeling good that they would have gotten both, and they sure did. Crowder ends up committing. This brings USC's 2026 class to 34 commitments, number 1 class in the country, and 7 total defensive backs. I always say defensive backs because I think a lot of these guys are interchangeable. We'll see some end up playing corner. We'll see some playing nickel. We'll see some playing safety. So 7 defensive backs now in this class. When you look at Elbert Hill, Brandon Lockhart, Peyton Dyer, Joshua Holland, Madden Riordan, and then now Jaquan Morris and Jayden Crowder. Crowder's currently the 86th ranked corner in the 26 class, according to Rivals industry rankings. But don't let that ranking fool you. He's been playing in the 10th, or I guess I should say Santa Margarita is the 10th ranked school in the country right now, and that is primarily due to their defense. They have had a dominant defense. Carson Palmer retained Coach Fafita, who was the interim head coach last year, retained him as his defensive coordinator, and it has paid dividends for that Santa Margarita defense that Crowder is one of the leaders of in that secondary. Last week, just to give you some context, they upset the mighty Mater Dei Monarchs 7-6. 7-6, a defensive slugfest, right? In that game, finished with 4 tackles, but in that game, the Monarchs were held to 99 total passing yards. With that prolific offense, Chris Henry Jr., I believe, had 0 catches, obviously 0 yards. Caden Dixon-Wyatt, both those guys are Ohio State commits, 2 catches. Not an indictment on Mark Bowman, but hey, the great Mark Bowman, he was limited. Now, obviously, Crowder does not cover all those guys, but he was absolutely integral in the shutdown of the Mater Dei passing offense. So maybe a 3-star kid, maybe lower on the ranking scales, but certainly talented and is a body and type of player that this USC Trojans recruiting efforts are looking for when you look at comparing him to the other 6 members of this class. So I think this is a big get for USC. They're at 34 total. There's been murmurs now they may push to go over 35. The thought was always get to 35. The thought now is maybe they'll add more than 35 in this class, which obviously means there'll be less in the 27 class, and have this kind of be the building block for the future in 26. And then you just sprinkle in classes after that. So, I mean, massive class already as it is. But this is a great get. So I want to jump in here quickly and just talk about Crowder and kind of what he will mean to this recruiting efforts and whatnot, and how now this looks like for the 27 class, who's obviously going to take less. And with 7 defensive backs, we'll probably see, 1 or 2 defensive backs potentially in the 27 class. Now, that being said, we've seen this year in real time how cornerback, safety, how defensive back depth can change very quickly. And what started fall camp as one of the deepest rooms on the team, by season start was already hit bad with injuries and was becoming one of the less deep rooms. And then we've seen them had to make different transitions and different guys kind of mold in as the seasons progress. Now they're getting a little healthier. But all that being saying, like, you can never have too many bodies in that room to develop, grow, especially if injuries stack up. So I know many people will say, man, seven DBs or 5 corners, however you want to look at it. And, I think that's when you look at that position room, probably maybe more so than any position group, that's when you want to recruit the most. Just because, especially in Dan Lynn's offense, I know they're running a lot more 4-3 since the Michigan game, and they'll probably run a lot more in Notre Dame. But at its core, it's a lot of 5 defensive back personnel packages, excuse me. So, you need to have more so than any other position. Even the receiver position now in this new kind of more 2 tight end set Lincoln Riley offense, you're not running out 5 receivers. You're running out 5 defensive backs a lot of the time. So you need to have bigger classes with that. You need to have more depth, more talent, more skill, and more versatility among these guys. And Jayden Crowder certainly brings that. So short and sweet, big get for the Trojans. Like I said, if you haven't already, check out the USC Notre Dame rivalry I did live just a couple hours ago. You can watch that. We'll be back all throughout the weekend for this huge matchup, and any other recruiting news that breaks, I'll have that for you right here on the USC LAFB channel. Appreciate you guys for always hanging out. And as always, fight on.